You are welcome. You are welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this online leadership training by Cascade Transformatics. It is a great pleasure to have you on board at this time of the year. My name is Dr. Unfavorable, and I will be moderating today's training on things facing leadership and their possible solutions. The major focus of this training is to identify the challenges facing leadership and how to solve them. So once again, I welcome you all to this training platform. At Cascade Transformatics Ltd, we are committed to encouraging Africans to continuously create innovative ideas, growth, and embark on self-development and capacity building. Our programs reflect this commitment, as well as the diverse backgrounds and cultures of our instructors, trainers, and participants alike. Our mission at Cascade Transformatics Ltd is to provide quality courses and a friendly learning environment. We focus on empowering people by providing the necessary tools and knowledge to help reach their goals. With our uniquely practical and straightforward approach, participants can begin applying their new skills just immediately after a session of training with us, at least at the basis. We also offer an unmatched variety of courses and programs of all ages, status, background, and academic levels. We offer training services for all sectors of human endeavor, such as in the agricultural sector, mining sector, power and energy sector, oil and gas, construction industries, in environmental management and sustainability practices. We can identify you in the course of this training. All right, going forward, I would like to introduce our trainer for today to make a presentation in the person of Mrs. Babatunde Rita. Has been leading for years now. She motivates the young, old, the male and female folk in most of our seminars and conferences on how to be a transformational leader who can pioneer positive innovations in their various fields of endeavor. She is also an educationist, postgraduate researcher, and a guardian and counselor for youths and women. You're welcome, Mrs. Rita. The stage is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dr. Unfavorable, for that Introduction. The topic for us this evening is challenges facing leadership and their possible solution. Challenges facing leadership and their possible solution. At the end of this training, it is expected that each participant should be able to identify challenges facing leadership and the way out or the possible solution. Is leadership really that tough? Of course. Being a leader is a difficult job. This teaching will show you various leadership challenges and how to overcome them. Now, as a leader, you tend to shoulder responsibilities that require lots of time, effort, and skills. Whether you are heading a business or just leading a few people to work, it is crucial that your mind and body are prepared to face the challenges of leadership. It is also important that you know how to handle or overcome leadership challenges. So now we're going to be talking about the challenges faced by leaders and the way out. One of the challenges is never-ending pressure and stress. Never-ending pressure and stress. One of the many challenges of leadership you will face and perhaps try to overcome is pressure. You are one of the first persons who will be subjected to it in your team. All the pressure your team receives also falls back on you, and you are expected to deal with all of them. The second challenge is difficult team members. The second one, difficult team members. There will always be one bad apple in the basket that can spoil the whole bunch. It sounds like a clique. However, it is a constant factor even in business. You can always blame the HR department for letting that guy in, but it will be pointless. Your immediate reaction towards this kind of person is rehabilitation. It is your task to handle them kindly and reform them. You cannot fix spoiled apples, but you can fix problematic people. However, some people, no matter what you do, will be just bad. You have two options on overcoming challenges like this. One, you can either reduce yours and your team's exposure to them, or just let them go if you can. That is the second challenge and the possible solution. The third one, culture and diversity. Culture and diversity. Nowadays, you should now be more mindful of culture and diversity. Most leaders have to walk in a thin line to get through work without offending anybody. With the current surge of political correctness in society, a leader has to be mindful and sensitive with every word and action he or she makes. It gets more worse if there's a cultural or ethnic division in your team. Gossip and communication problems easily arise from either side, and it will be your role to make peace between opposing groups. In leadership, overcoming challenges like this one can be tricky, but luckily easy. First, you should never forget that it is your responsibility to help people to settle their differences outside work and prevent them from affecting business operations. You should also establish a workplace culture that they are comfortable with and set the tone of your work environment. Your team may have different perspectives and beliefs. However, in your organization, they need to set those aside and focus on the culture you have established instead. The next challenge is reputation and respect. Depending on how you acquired your position as a leader, the number of people who like and respect you will vary. As a leader, some individuals have multiple reasons to disrespect your authority. Those individuals may believe that they are much more suited than you to be in the leadership position. May not even like, and a few of them are not inclined to follow a leader. It's not just part of them to receive instruction from people. This is one of the delicate challenges of a leader. Truth be told, it can be difficult to earn the respect who are actually respectful. Always remind yourself that even though you need to get some respect from them, it is not your duty to make them proper people who can respect others. In any case, don't let them get you down. Your goal is to lead your team to success, not to be their friend or idol. Always focus on the big picture and tackle that matter of them not respecting you or treating you poorly later on when your plate isn't full anymore. That can be handled. The important thing here is that you do not get tossed around. Do your job and let them do theirs. If they act on their dislike and disrespect towards you and their action results in negligence and insubordination, then it is time to take the necessary appropriate action. The next challenge is firing someone. There will be lots of reasons and instances that will cause you to let someone go. It is just one of the many challenges and problems with leadership that you will have to learn to overcome. If you get yourself into that situation, make sure that it will be okay. If you need to deliver the news yourself, do not be hungry or rash. Also, just in case they show any expression of relief and joy while the person is still in front of you, it is very dangerous. So that is it on firing someone. The next challenge here is delivering unfavorable news. Delivering unfavorable news. As a leader, you might be in the top or middle management. Either way, delivering bad news to your superior and or subordinates can be difficult. In an organization, failures and setbacks happened. And as a leader, you are expected to avoid those and lead the organization to success. People always assume the only news you have got is good. Unfortunately, as much as you want to, Murphy's Law is there to make things harder for you. To reduce the chaos that the news can cause and the negative reaction you will receive, deliver the news minus the suspense and drama. Just say what it is in a straightforward, matter-of-fact manner and be detailed and specific. Following it up immediately with an action plan to reduce the effects of the bad news. The next on the list is focus and work hours. When dealing with challenges of leadership and trying to overcome them, it can be difficult to maintain your focus. You should also consider the fact that distractions can move you away from getting the things done. Additionally, working more hours is not the key to compensate for the time you were distracted and unproductive. Don't fret about getting distracted and losing focus when dealing with challenges. That's normal. You are only human. Additionally, if you find yourself fatigued from working too hard, cut yourself some slack when you suddenly get off track. Do not overcompensate too much. There's always tomorrow. A century ago, working 10 to 16 hours for 6 days was the norm. Obviously, that didn't work out because companies and employees become inefficient. This leads to the compulsory 40 hours work week schedule. Basically, this study's result implies that you can get your job done efficiently in 3.5 hours. But this does not exactly give you a reason to stop completing your work hours anyway. So, another challenge faced by leaders is motivation. Again, you are only human. Efforts to overcome setbacks, stress, and challenges with leadership can create loads of negative emotions that can heavily impact you. This can also suck out all the motivation you have. Because of that, you must do everything you can to motivate yourself. To do that, you must first see and remember all the good things happening around you. Then, make it a point not to dwell on those negative emotions. The next step is to create and find solutions for those setbacks and stress triggers. Find the things that are not working and focus on fixing them. Also, remember that the feeling of isolation is normal when you are a leader. Generally, your followers are the ones who ask and expect motivation from you and not the other way around. Accept the fact that you will be usually doing the cheerleading for yourself. However, don't forget that you still have family and friends who can help you out and be your very own cheerleading squad. In addition, if you have developed strong emotional connection with your team, you can ask them to motivate you too. The next challenge faced by leaders is miscommunications and misunderstanding. Miscommunications and misunderstanding. They are two challenges of a leader that always come in pairs. They happen because people transfer information that can fall out of context. Let me give an example. Person A tells person B, tell person C that I need to get his report about our sales forecast tomorrow at 2 p.m. That is the information. Person B tell person C, give person A the report he needs tomorrow. As a person who heard what person A told person B, you can exactly understand what person B told person C. Person B also perfectly understands the context of the message. However, as person C only receives person B's message, he can get confused and start asking questions like, what report does person A need? When exactly does person A needs the report? If person C clarifies the information, then he will know what exactly he needs to do. If person C, on the other hand, does not clarify and proceed to assume or guess what person A needs, miscommunication and misunderstanding happen. The example ended up with person C giving his inventory report to person A at 2 p.m. As a leader who gives out instructions, you will be prone to miscommunications and misunderstandings. Aside from that, it is your job to prevent miscommunication happening within your team. Remember that each misunderstanding might cost you and set up your team to fail. Please beware. The next point is failures. Ultimately, the effectiveness of your leadership is measured by how many failures and successes you bring to the organization. A lot of successes often equate good leadership. A lot of failures often get you questioned by your superior, subordinate, and yourself. Encountering failures as a leader can set you up for a downfall spiral full of self-pity. And that is the last thing you want as a leader. Getting stuck in a rut will further worsen your situation. Here's what you can do. Identify the mistakes you made. Be accountable for your failure. Reassess your situation. Find a solution and then move forward. Take note that self-pity has no place in your action plan if and when you fail. Remember that if you fail, that is it. There's no denying it. But instead of looking back, you should be progressing. The world will not stop with one mistake, and neither should you. Please take note of that. So what I've just stressed are most challenges faced by leaders. There are also other forms of challenges you might encounter as a leader in your organization. Although they are considered as minor challenges, they are still worth discussing. Hence, they will still be regarded as challenges leaders encounter. Aside from the big ones mentioned, you will encounter minor challenges faced by leaders from time to time. Here are a few leadership challenges you should watch out for and tips on how to overcome them. And one of it is criticism. As a leader, your job will be under constant close examination. If you are new to a leadership position, you might find the steady stream of feedback okay and normal. But after a constant blast of criticisms, you might find yourself losing patience. The best way to deal with criticism is knowing which ones are valid and which ones are not. Always remember that if a person criticizes you, that means his criticism is open to criticism as well. So if you hear an invalid criticism, never hesitate to shoot it down. Of course, always make sure that you listen first before you provide your response. Also, focus on the criticism and not the person. Targeting the person will just make matters worse and will just add another point that they can use to criticize you. So be very, very careful. The next challenge is humility. Never forget that humility is an important virtue to have as a good and well-respected leader. Your humility will be challenged whenever you experience success. It is crucial that you should never let success go to your head. However, it does not mean that you should not celebrate nor you should refuse to take credits. Just be modest and humble. Remember that humility is not the absence of pride. Humility is the realization that you are not better, but not lesser. It is important, it is understanding the truth, value of your actions and abilities. Accepting or accept compliments graciously and take credits when and where it is due. You don't need to brag about your accomplishment. No, you don't need that. If you are truly a good leader, your team will spread the word and taunt the horn for you. The next point is changes. Changes. That is the next point. Changes can come from you, your team, or your organization. In leadership, you must be adaptable to changes as you try to overcome your challenges. You might bring changes to your leadership style over time. Your team members might be replaced by a new crew. Your organization may impose new policy changes. Change is constant. Hence, it is a challenge you must frequently face. But before you think about how to overcome challenges and deal with changes, you must learn how to be adaptable as a person in a leadership position. So this is what to do. 1, be more open-minded and flexible to changes and innovations. Expect and predict changes. Always come up with advanced games plan, or what we call plan B. Never wink about changes. Analyze changes and do not outright reject them. Never forget your perspective and direction. Understand that changes are not always right or wrong. Create your own coping mechanism to changes. Go with the flow and learn to change with the changing threats. So these are the points you can, these are tips, let me call it tips, that can help you overcome the challenges that come with changes as a leader. Now, let me conclude by saying this. Learning and understanding how to cope and overcome leadership challenges will take time and practice. However, always remind yourself that it is not just you alone who should face and learn how to overcome challenges at work. Your team should play their parts as well. After all, these challenges most of the time involve them. They can be the source of your stress, can be difficult, could be disrespectful, and so on. All of these things contribute largely to the challenges you will face. Still, never give up. You have a long way to go. Furthermore, if you want to become a truly effective and competent leader, you should never lose hope that you will get through the challenges. Now, my question to you is this: what other challenges can a leader face? And you have to give me solution to those challenges. You can just drop it on the chat box. Thank you very much for listening.
Wow, that was so insightful and elaborate, Mrs. Rita. Very impressive. I'm sure our listeners have grabbed a lot in this section. Please, Mrs. Rita, in the course of the training, we are expecting some questions.